I have many negative feelings, though I do yoga every day. So I'm starting to wonder if I'm actually progressing spiritually.
So, most people who are negative don't even know that they're negative. Only other people experience it. If you're beginning to know I'm negative, you are growing. Making some progress. Because this is the nature of your existence. If somebody comes close to you, if their mouth is smelling, you know his mouth is smelling. But if your own is smelling, your smelling instrument is sitting right here, inspector, doesn't know. Hello? Right here. See, the nose is right here, but it can't smell this, but it can smell that and that and that. This is the nature of your existence. So if you begin to see your own negativity, you're growing, you're progressing. So, if you don't know how, you must do this every day in the night before you go to sleep. You can do Isha Kriya just before you go to bed. Just for a few minutes, and even lying down, you just do it and fall asleep. Before that, you just write just one page. Today, not in terms of what you did, in terms of your experience, are you little more joyful, little more peaceful, little better, or are you worse? Just keep a note of this, because this is like you're doing business. If you're keeping your accounts good, see what you write for the income tax, it's up to you. But for you to run the business, you're keeping proper accounts, then you know you're moving forward or backward. You're making profit or loss. You did not keep any accounts, after 10 years you may go bankrupt suddenly one day. Something happened, Nothing happened, you didn't keep track of things, that's all happened. So for everything, whether it is your own progress or your business or your family, do not try to invent mystical reasons that, suddenly I got heart attack. Nobody gets suddenly heart attack, you're slowly working for it. Yes, suddenly I became depressed. No, you're working for it. One day you will succeed. If I say this, a whole lot of people will get at me, there is no guru, no compassion, no nothing. It's up to you whether you want to live in somebody's compassion or in the strength of your own sense, it's up to you.
Have you ever cleaned your house with a broom? If you have, then it will give you a great insight into what really happens when one starts walking on the spiritual path. What happens when you broom your room? Initially, you don't see the dust at all. But when you are almost finished brooming your room, you see so much dust collected in one place, and sometimes you feel the room was so dirty and I didn't even know. The same thing happens when you do your spiritual practices, when you do your meditation. Spiritual practices and meditation act as a broom which clean the dirt of your negative thoughts and feelings. That is the sole purpose of spiritual practices. They don't create you, they simply uncover the real conscious you by removing the cover of these thoughts and emotions. Initially, before you started doing your meditation, you couldn't know anything about negative thoughts and feelings because there was no gap between the real conscious divine you and these thoughts and feelings. And so you were greatly identified with them. But now, because of your spiritual practices and meditation, there is a gap between the real conscious you and these thoughts and emotions. And this gap between the real you and these thoughts and feelings makes you instantly recognize them, and you get overpowered by them. You get strongly affected by thoughts and feelings because you are still strongly identified with them. To go beyond them, to not let them affect you, you need to see them as what they really are. You need to know that they are nothing more than the clouds in the sky. What can the clouds of these thoughts and emotions do to you, who are the sky of awareness, who are the sky of consciousness? The clouds come and go. They cannot remain forever. Similarly, these thoughts and emotions come and go. They appear, stay for a while, and disappear. But the real, conscious, divine you is always there. It is ever present. So instead of identifying with these thoughts and emotions, just look at them as being separate from you. Just see them as fleeting visitors, as the transient play of energy on the real, conscious, divine you. There is only one thing which can determine whether you are really progressing on the spiritual path or not, and that is your response to what happens. How do you respond to what happens in your life? The answer to this question can tell you whether you are really progressing on the spiritual path or not. If you don't react to what happens, then you are progressing. If you offer a graceful response to what happens, then you are progressing. If you accept what happens gracefully and unconditionally, you are then really progressing on the spiritual path. The external circumstances, the external situations can easily show you how far you have advanced on the spiritual path. Just have a close look at the lives of enlightened masters and see how they respond to what happens in their lives, and you will come to know what spiritual progress really is. When Jesus was nailed to the cross, what did he say? Despite the excruciating pain, he said, "O Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Now this says something about his state of mind, about his state of consciousness. He knew himself as the divine conscious being, completely apart from this body-mind complex. That is why, despite so much physical pain, his heart was filled with love and forgiveness for the people who were torturing him. That is the power of consciousness. And this is what you yourself are in your essence. You are the divine, conscious being, completely apart from this body-mind complex.